What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Alchemy Pay today, ACH. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. Shout out to Fonzie. Every time I think about Alchemy Pay, I think about you, Fonzie. Not in a weird way, man. I don't know. Maybe, I don't think it's weird. It doesn't have to be weird. Low to high here, you guys. We're at about 2.56 cents right now. You've gone all the way down, man. You've literally, on your first attempt, just torn through your golden ratio. We've seen this across the space, really since October, August of 2024. We've noticed this kind of trend, and it's very helpful because generally, whenever you tear through the golden ratio, that does not bring good tidings. But with what you've been doing recently across the crypto space, very specifically, the expectation would be that you find support right on the 786 or somewhere between the 786 and the 886, potentially even at the 886. So all I'm getting at here is, while it might be discouraging that ACH is dropping day after day after day, I get it. It's discouraging. In fact, I'm actually curious, how many days have you moved down? 14. This would be your 4. I mean, technically, I guess you moved down 13 days. But I get that it can be discouraging, but what's encouraging, at least, is that you're very near the low. You either are basically at your low at the 786, or more likely you probably go a little bit lower, but just a little bit lower, right? Even if you went all the way down to the 886, which is at about 2.3 cents, I think. I mean, that's a 13% move, 15% move. And I would never want to lose, intentionally or unintentionally, I would never want to lose 13 to 14% of my money. But after all you've been through, I mean, you've been through over a 50% drop already. What's another 10 to 14%? You know what I mean? If this was a 786 bounce, if you were to find support here, generally speaking, and the reason why I think you are going to go lower is because, generally speaking, whenever you move down like this and you find support at the 786, it's not 3 or 4 days that you're down here. It's 1 day, 2 days at the most, and you recover rather immediately. So the fact that we haven't done that, I think, is an indication that you want to go lower. That doesn't mean you have to go to the 886, but right there at about that's at 2.21 cents, 0.022167. That would be the lowest that I expect you to go. I don't know if I expect that you go there. That's just the lowest that I would expect you to go. Okay, I definitely don't expect that you're going to find support at the 786 again, because you would have done that already. I think over the past 3 or 4 days, you would have done that already. So let's look at the RSI and see if any of that agrees. Looking at the daily RSI, yeah, I would say it agrees. Right? You've got these higher lows here that you've broken out of. You're below the 40. Everything about the daily RSI suggests that you go lower. Does it mean that you have to go dramatically lower and just dump? No, but a little bit lower, sure. I mean, after all, where does your RSI tend to find support? Right at the oversold zone here, just above it right here. I mean, you're pretty close to that area, even a little bit lower maybe, right? Support right there, resistance right there. You're just above that area. Maybe you have to go a little bit lower. Support right there, a little bit lower. Oftentimes it is a little bit lower. Even on, I guess not on a resistance standpoint, even on a resistance standpoint there, support right there. It's not that you have to go lower. It's just that it wouldn't be crazy if you did. It would make sense. It would be very similar to what you've seen in your recent history, right? So I think a little bit lower in the RSI, that makes total sense, right? We wouldn't expect this thing to look like it's about to crap the bed and go to the oversold zone, because the price certainly doesn't look like that. I like seeing that the RSI and the price kind of agrees, right? A little bit lower makes sense to me, makes sense to the chart. Let's look at the 4-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame here, yes, very bearish, very, very bearish. Oversold. You were in a downtrend, you broke the downtrend, and you're just getting oversold all the time, rejecting the 40, consistently moving down, right? That's why you're getting these consistent moves down. What I will say, and a little fun thing that I like to do, is just kind of connect the dots sometimes to see where we are in this trend. If you take this low here and you connect it to this low, okay? Man, this is actually worse. I was going to say this is actually not what I was looking for. And you connect that low and that low. It looks like you're picking up the pace, actually, right? That's kind of funny. So what we want to see, this next low, we want to see it not increase the slope. We want to see it decrease the slope. We want to start to see some kind of rounding out in these lows, if that makes sense. I was looking for some rounding out, but it doesn't look like we got that. That's okay. It's okay that it's not rounding out yet, right? We're on the 4-hour time frame. You've broken out of your downward trend, but you still look disgusting in the RSI, rejecting the 40 here. Higher highs in the RSI with lower highs in the price, hidden bearish divergence. You definitely look like you want to go down, but I think that you're near the end of it. I really do think that you're near the end of it. Another move down You know, as long as you don't go below that low in the RSI, that gets you set up for some bullish divergence with higher lows and lower lows. And if you were to get set up with bullish divergence, that would imply that you only have a slightly lower move to go, which is exactly all that I'm implying. I don't know how long it'll take you to achieve this, to move down to the 886 area, or at least below the 786. I would assume that you're there, you're either in this zone by the end of today or certainly by the end of the week, right? Today's Saturday, so tomorrow's Sunday, tomorrow's the end of the week. So within the next 44 hours, 43 hours, something like that, I would expect that you're moving down there. And then going into next week, I would think that you're going to recover and start to move up. You might be in store for a V-shaped recovery. You never know. It's hard to say. V-shaped recoveries, what's hard, the hard thing about them is you don't really know you're in one until they're well underway, right? And they just happen so fast. But I guess even if it weren't to be a V-shaped recovery, a kind of gradual recovery, any kind of time that you break through the golden ratio like this, you hit the 786 or the 886, it oftentimes is a rather rapid recovery. So let's see how it looks. But I am anticipating that, again, over the next 2 days, maybe the next 3 days at the most, you'll find your higher low, right? Come on, man, why is it doing that? Lows here, higher lows here. You're going to find your higher low here, and then over the coming weeks, going into March and the end of March, I would expect that you're above this high and progressing much higher. It doesn't feel appropriate to take a high to low fib here because we don't have the low yet, right? That puts us at about 7.39 cents as the minimum target at the 1272 extension here, right? If we bring this line down, now it's at 75.3 cents. You know what I mean? So it's little differences, but those little differences matter, right? This is technical analysis. Let's be technical. So I don't feel appropriate taking that high to low fib there. Let's look and see if we can find another one that's rather... Okay, yeah. I always forget about how bullish this range is, man. If you're worried about Alchemy Pay at all, just zoom out and look at the weekly, man. You've got higher lows, a flat top. You couldn't ask for a better looking pattern. It's phenomenal. All the volume, man. It really does look pretty damn good, I gotta say. As long as you don't go below this low. If you go below this low, well, that could be bad because then you're breaking out of the upward sloping trend line in this big pattern. Going below that low would definitely be bad. Just like going above this high would be good. You don't want to go below that low, though. Looking at this here, it wouldn't be crazy at all if you went just a little bit lower. It wouldn't be crazy at all. If we take this high to low, that was the main reason why I did that. High to low of this range here, high to low. When you move up above this high, the minimum target to be expected is about 7.5 cents. The maximum target to be expected is about 12.16 cents. And I say maximum to be expected. This is your primary target zone, the 1618 to the 1272. But you absolutely could see some kind of ridiculous move that takes you higher. After all, let's look at ACH here. Is there an ACN? There is. Acorn Protocol. What the hell is Acorn Protocol? Well, let's stay away from it. We'll just leave it at that. ACH Pay. Okay, let's see. Hold on. What I want to do is take the high to low here. I know Coinbase doesn't have that, so high to low here. Why did I want to take that high to low? Okay, that's right. That's right. This high was August 2nd. This high was August 2nd. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird how the second biggest exchange in crypto, the week it gets listed, happens to be the all-time high? Isn't that weird how that happens? It's almost like exchange listings, while they're bullish before the fact, they're absolutely like terrible after the fact. Right? Everybody wants their coin to get an exchange listing, but are you prepared to sell once it gets listed? Because if you are, you're probably in good shape. If you're buying on an exchange listing, you're not doing so well. But I'm digressing from the point. Okay, I just noticed that. And maybe that high is at 23.7 cents. That high is at 17 cents. I don't think the Coinbase high is accurate, right? That was just first day mania, probably only on Coinbase. The average chart only went to about 17.8 cents. However you want to look at it, I think it makes sense to take this high, not Coinbase's high, in regards to the all-time high. The charts make sense out of it too. After all, you're finding resistance time and time again over the months, over the years, at the golden ratio itself of this retracement. So when you move up from here, the expected targets would be the 786 to the 886. You could go higher. But I would think if you went any higher, it would be to the all-time high itself, which is at about 17.8 cents. So something between 17.8 to 9 cents is what I would expect. Let's just say 9 to 18 cents. That's a nice 100% range right there, right? 9 to 18 cents. Here, we've got 7.5 to 12.16 cents. Okay, so that's nice. Does 18 cents come in at all? Well, at the 1886 it does. So that's the whole reason I was doing this, was to determine. I think that the 1886, I think this is possible by the end of this move, by the end of March. I think it could happen, or even early April it could happen. But I'm starting to lean more to this 12.16 area. I'm starting to like that a lot more. I think that's where you're going to go. At any rate, something above 9 cents, something below 20 cents is likely where you're going to go by the end of March. It will all start very soon, but first you have a little bit lower, just a little bit lower to go. It's nothing to be worried about. The 1 hour looks like it wants to go down. The 4 hour looks like it wants to go down. Even the daily would make sense for it to go down. You start looking at the weekly time frame, things get a little bit more bullish, right? At your weakest points, you're bouncing off the 40. At your strongest points, you're getting overbought. Good things, right? You're at a point right now where you could set up to bounce off the 50. If by the end of the week, you pull back a little bit, like I think you do, right? Maybe over the next day, day and a half, you pull back, but then the end of the week, you come back up and you close here. That would set you up for a nice bounce on the 50. You don't have to bounce right on the 50. In fact, you can find support just below the 50 and still have phenomenal results. But, a nice rejection off the 50, nice rejection there. A little bit of support significance around this area. I think it can go a long ways. It can promote a much better kind of look. But again, whatever happens, man. Even if you close a little bit lower than this, if you close just below the 50, I would assume you get the same reaction as if you closed right here. So at the very least, all I mean by this is we're looking for this week to close either around here, or at the very least, nothing too much crazier to the downside, right? Now, I don't think that a 7 to 5% move or whatever it was is going to dictate that, right? Was it 10%? I mean, maybe you could drop 13%, maybe, just looking at the price there, but I don't think you do. I think 231 holds. I really do. I think that 236 holds right there. So a 10% move could happen. Okay. Low to high. Yeah, okay, 10%. I'm getting confused. I've done so many charts, man. I'm getting confused with another chart. Yeah, 10% move could definitely happen. Even a 14% move could happen. So something as low as 2.2 cents, something at least at 2.4 cents. But I'm personally in favor more of probably something in the midway part of this zone, if not lower. I think, again, if you were to find support at the 786, I don't think you'd be lingering in these areas like you are now. Oftentimes when you do find support in the 786, you make a pretty quick move down, you tip it, and then you rip it. You know what I mean? You don't hang out in this area and then tip and rip. That's not normal. So I think you figure out a little bit lower. I think you're just getting set up for that last little drop. I got nothing else for you guys. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe if you want more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I expect big things over the months for Alchemy Pay and over the months for crypto. It all starts probably next week, if not obviously by the end of this month, but definitely not a time to panic sell. Definitely a good time to get your funds ready, have a game plan, and get set up for the good times that are about to roll. So I got nothing else for you. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Bye-bye.